From the Comedy News headquarters in Somerville, Massachusetts, welcome to America Tonight, with your host, whose original name was far too ethnic, Bill Kansas.
Thank you, America, for this wonderful opportunity. In recent news, the FBI has updated its most wanted list. This new villain has unleashed mass mayhem and destruction and has a murder count of at least 2 whites. Here, let's take a closer look. As we can see, quite dangerous, quite big. But it's unfortunate that some people are taking this lightly. Some people are trying to turn a profit. I mean, just take a look at this. Unbelievable. The T-Rex of microbes. Just look at that plushy you know, unbelievable. But it turns out that there's a new movie coming out. It'll probably be hitting theaters soon, given we're all gonna, die. Here, let's take a look. Oh, exciting. You know, being the T-Rex isn't easy. I mean, we should really give it some credit here. You know, you need to be a real killer. The T-Rex was the terror of the Cretaceous period, and you know, this Ebola is really something. I mean, the data I'm about to show you is a bit old, so let's double, in fact, what the Ebola death count is, and let's take a look at how it compares. Good Lord, it's worse than we thought. Who cares about HIV, AIDS, and diarrhea in a time like this when Ebola is killing everyone? Now, this is only in Africa, where there's about 1,000 times more cases reported. Think of what's happening in our borders, people. This is America. With 2 whites dead, oh, we have now surpassed the amount of people it takes to tango. Dangerous. But I think something we can be proud of is how calm the American people have stayed during this entire ordeal, setting a trend for people around the world.
Another frightening story developing right now, Ebola here in the United States, and tonight there are growing fears that it could spread.
Do you admit we already have an outbreak?
What are the chances that illegal immigrants or that terrorists will purposely send someone here using Ebola as a bio-terror weapon?
All ISIS would need to do is send a few of its suicide killers into an Ebola-affected zone and then get them on some mass transit.
Stop admitting West Africans into America right now.
Yeah. Seal off the border.
The calls get louder for more aggressive screening for the deadly disease.
This fear is the new normal.
This is the AIDS of the 2014 era.
Yes, thank you. Completely calm. Well, as I'm sure you well know by now, the plague has hit New York. Again, we know it's on the horizon. We know the apocalypse is nigh, but calm and steady. Never mind, it's been nice knowing all of you. Oh God, he treated victims in Africa. If you're frightened, good, because New York and Boston are pretty close. Luckily, here at Tufts University, we've been preparing for this incident weeks ago. Take a look at this email sent out by Provost David Harris. Yes, while this was the email that most people received, chances are they didn't read it, and this is what they actually saw. XOXO. Thank you, Tony. You see, Tufts isn't the only institution preparing for this apocalyptic nightmare. Many people have been doing the necessary legwork, and Amazon is on the front line of cutting-edge technology to prepare for this by enabling the mass distribution of hazmat suits. Oh yes. 2-day shipping, folks. Hashtag Amazon Prime. Now, thankfully, my fellow newscasters and American citizens have been level-headed during this entire incident and haven't made any rash decisions.
Warranted or not, the Ebola scare has hit Yoakum Elementary School here in Maple Shade. Parents are talking about this letter sent by the school nurse to teachers and staff here at Yoakum. It says 2 students who moved from the East African nation of Rwanda are starting classes here October 20th. But after backlash from parents, those kids are being kept out of school.
Rwanda. It even sounds like a disease. Rwanda. Now, I'm pretty sure Rwanda is close to Sierra Leone and Liberia. I'm not exactly sure, but it's in Africa, so I'm sure it's right next to it. Here, let's actually take a look. Ah. Oh, well, if that's the distance we need to be safe. The Spaniards. The Portuguese. Everyone. This is America. And this should be for Americans. Now, this disease, people say it came from monkeys, but really, I think we know who's behind it.
Obama broke down our borders. The CDC has confirmed the first Ebola case in the United States. This is heartbreaking. It's an act of treason. The treason was committed by your government.
No! 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 Sorry about that. Now let's go out into the field with interviewer Maddie Burton, who's finding out how the disease was transmitted from patient to nurse in a Texas hospital.
Hi, Bill. I'm here on the streets of Dallas at ground zero of our national outbreak, Texas Health Presbyterian, with Mark.
Hi, nice to be here.
So, Mark, are you familiar with our recent crisis?
Oh yeah, see, I'm a security guard for a gated community, so I watch 17 hours of cable news a day.
So it's safe to say you're very familiar with this topic, if not an expert.
I would say so.
So, how do you think we should be responding to this crisis?
Well, I don't think that there's nearly enough rioting in the streets.
And how do you think this disease spread from patient to nurse? What sort of oversights and incompetencies are we seeing at the institutional level?
Well, I think that the CDC has clearly failed us. You see, my cousin Joe's aunt's best friend from high school's roommate was sitting on a bus next to the Ebola patient, and so now I think I have Ebola. Thanks, Obama.
So which sort of extra precautions should we be taking?
Well, you see, I think at the very least we should be double bagging, if not at least triple bagging. We need to build a wall across the America-Africa border to keep out ISIS and to stop all the Mexicans from stealing our jobs.
Have you consulted any medical professionals on this topic?
Oh yeah, see, I talked to my doctor about this and he gave me some schlep about not overreacting and I shouldn't worry because the disease isn't airborne and it's very hard to catch, but like, what does he know? You know, has he even seen the movie Outbreak? Like, I don't know what kind of medical school this guy went to, but like diseases mutate all the time. He needs to learn some science.
You heard it here first, America. Ebola is a disease that is poised to spread across this nation. Thank you so much for your time, Mark.
Anytime. I have to get going, so I'm late for my appointment at the methadone clinic.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much, and back to you, Bill.
And we're back. Here with us we have an expert, the Honorable PhD candidate Professor Dr. Arias, who flew in indirectly from Liberia. Can you tell us a little bit about your research and the results you got from Liberia?
Thanks, Bill, for having me here. We had positive results. Positive results that we can fix this thing. Yeah, no worries. On my way here from Mexico, because that's the only place where you can get to nowadays, I had to be quarantined for 21 days. Pretty inhumanely, I was pooping in some buckets for a while. It's pretty bad. But we could always learn from our mistakes in the past. Mm-hmm. Like with AIDS. With AIDS, we definitely paid that into a bigger problem than it actually was. Huge. And AIDS is not a problem anymore, so
yeah.
Who cares about AIDS?
No one.
So who cares about Ebola?
I got you. Can you tell us a little bit, though, give some reasons to the American public as to why we shouldn't freak out?
First reason, straight off the bat, we ain't from Africa.
I'm not from Africa.
Me neither, so it's cool, So that's no problem right there. Also, statistics show that it's very difficult to contract Ebola.
All right.
It's very contagious, but it's very difficult to contract. There's also far scarier things, like obesity, diarrhea, which I had a bunch in Mexico. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Like tobacco.
Tobacco is
definitely not AIDS.
No, AIDS is still scary.
Is it?
All right, but can you give us one reason? Can you just tell us a little bit about like why you think the American people have this fear? If you're giving us reasons that we shouldn't.
I think part of the reason is that people don't know where these 2 nurses from Texas who were treating the patient, Thomas Duncan, got Ebola. I know for sure that you cannot get Ebola from food, from air, from water. You need to get it from the transmission of bodily fluids. But these nurses, they have no idea where they got it from.
Gotcha. So I guess what we're hearing here is that Ebola isn't scary. And as I recently found out, also not a country in Africa. Well, I'm glad we could clear all of the suspicions. Ebola is not frightening, and we shouldn't be worried. Everything's going to be great. Or is it? All right, this is your host, Bill Kansas. We've been great. We'll see you next week.